見せてやるよ。これが最後の月が天章だ。最後の月が天章ってのは俺自身が月がになることだ。
Okay, so here's a statue I didn't really intend to buy and I kind of bought on impulse because I really like the character that it's based on and the form he's in. That is the main character of Bleach, Kurosaki Ichigo, specifically in the form he took when using the final Getsuga Tenshō, and it's the electroplating version made by Cheng Studio. Love the design given to the box. It's a simple black and white artwork of Ichigo before using the Mugetsu technique. Now this studio didn't unfortunately give this product some instructions to assemble the statue, since I did kinda struggle, especially since a lot of these pieces are similar in color. But I imagine there could be people who enjoy this process since it does feel like you're figuring out a puzzle. Also, I didn't notice the knob at the side of this recording when I was unboxing the statue. It actually slightly bothered me during the editing. The statue does come with a cool little plaque. A lot of these effect pieces are based off of the dark blue spiritual energy released from Ichigo during this form, which is the reason why I chose the electroplating version, since most of the effect pieces are painted a solid dark blue color, as in shown in the anime momentarily at least, while the other version that Cheng Studio made was a transparent version, which has a statue with a translucent black color, which I imagine is closer to the manga, since the medium is literally black and white, but I decided to go with the electroplating version since I like the blue color given to the pieces. And now onto the second layer that has more effect pieces. And there's a lot more effect pieces than I expected. In fact, I even missed like 3 pieces when I was assembling the statue. I was afraid the studio might have forgotten some pieces, but that was just more on me. Here is one of the biggest effect pieces included, this one being placed behind the main body, and it was slightly hard to take out since most of the points were stuck into the foam box. And now onto the third layer. It's the first time a statue has had 3 layers, from what I can remember at least. And now for the base, which is mostly consistent of rocks, with dark blue spiritual energy around with dark clouds. I think it turned out great, and the blue shading on the rocks is a nice touch. Here's one piece I've been waiting to get to, the head sculpt itself, because I was curious to see how the hair would turn out since the character's hair would be long, and thankfully nothing was broken. And for the most part, super pleased with the finished product. And now for the main body itself. Loved how the upper body turned out, with the left side being my favorite part. Love the pattern on his arm. It's missing his right hand, but an effect piece will be placed there. And the lower body is sculpted and painted amazingly. Here is most of the effect pieces. It took me a while to finally put everything together. Now it's time to assemble the statue itself, starting with the background piece. then the main body, which is connected through 2 pegs on each of the feet. And now to put in the rest of the effect pieces, and I have to reiterate, love how they were painted. Then comes the large cloud, which will also have effect pieces placed into it. One of my favorite things about resin statues are the crazy bases that the studio can think of and the creative effect pieces given to some of them. But I will admit, it's also a little annoying when these details are too big or specifically wide, because it does take up a lot of space and it makes it difficult to be placed near others. The cost of this statue, as you would expect from the size and quality, it was pretty expensive, being $369 USD, which I was prepared to pay for, but what caught me off guard the most is the shipping price I was charged with, costing $302 for sea shipping. I found that to be completely insane and the most I've ever paid for shipping. I think my previous record was the Hinata statue, which was around $160 for shipping. I was taken aback, and the only reason I got was because the statue was apparently oversized, but I didn't really complain since there's not much I can do. This statue is now the 3rd highest I've ever paid for, right behind the Hinata and Goku statues. For the final touches are the pieces that go on the main body, but there was one piece that didn't fit into place, which were supposed to go on the pants, so I decided to leave it out since it didn't fit. Here's the arm piece, representing the preparation of Mugetsu. And for the final piece, the head sculpt. The size of Ichigo, without the base mind you, up to Ichigo's head, it's roughly below 13.5 inches. And with the base included, up until the effect pieces, it's roughly below 20.5 inches. Here's a quick display of the completed statue. Once again, had to turn it with my own hands since it was too big for my rotating display. This is my second Ichigo figure, but it's also my first Ichigo resin statue. However, I didn't expect to find one modeled after the final Getsuga Tenshō form, and I think Cheng Studio did an amazing job. Other than how the main body turned out, I think my favorite part of this statue is the background piece behind the Ichigo. I really like how it looks. Ichigo is one of my favorite main characters in anime, so I've been looking for a good resin statue for a while, and I did manage to find a few good ones, so expect at least another Ichigo video in the future. I've enjoyed seeing Ichigo's powers develop in the story. First, how he obtained his powers by using Rukia's transferred energy, then seeing him awaken his own Soul Reaper powers was cool to see, which are also his hollow powers. I love it whenever Ichigo and White Ichigo talk with one another, specifically the talk they had during the Aranka arc when they were discussing who is the king, especially since White Ichigo is revealed to be Ichigo's actual Zanpakuto spirit. I found Ichigo's Hollow Mask to be one of my favorite power-ups in the show, and how it slightly changed the patterns as he got stronger was a cool little detail. I also liked it when Ichigo underwent his training within the Dangai because it felt similar to Dragon Ball's hyperbolic time chamber. I know some people might not like it because it's an easy way out for Ichigo to defeat Aizen, but I think it makes sense, especially after it's discovered Ichigo is a hybrid of many races, and he balances his soul, for at least at that time, to use his powers at its fullest. And lastly, I like the decision that Ichigo lost his powers after he delivered his strongest attack. I don't know if there's a name for this or if it's a trope, but whenever a character loses his power in exchange for gaining something greater is such an interesting concept to me. Similar situations that come to mind is Gone Freaks from Hunter x Hunter, and one that might be a far-fetched, but Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist also did something similar. That's pretty much it for the showcase. I really liked how it turned out and glad to have found this statue. The only problem was the shipping cost, but that's besides the point. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait for more Bleach statues, along with seeing more of the new anime. Bye.
無月